Hello everyone. Today I would like to speak about something called the fast unraveling of Islam. As I said last time, I post my videos on Sunday, and last Sunday when I posted the videos, then right next day on the news, I know Islam will unravel, and I know it will unravel quickly. However, I never thought it will be that quick or that fast. Last Monday, I read on the news, in addition to the things that it took place in Saudi Arabia according to the command of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, of allowing women to drive, allowing women to go to the sports stadium, allowing women to not to have a guardian, all these things. That was 1 week ago. Just next day, last Monday, I read on the news, Saudi Arabia allows the Indian Airlines to go through its airspace to Israel. Why is that interesting? Because Saudi Arabia, especially where Islam started, was very adamant to accept Israel as a nation, as a country, since 1948 until 2018. That is 70 years. And suddenly, and because they don't admit that Israel is a country, then they don't want the Israeli airlines or Israeli planes to go through the airspace of Saudi Arabia to reach a destination. It will be shorter. And suddenly started with India, allowing Indian Airlines to go to Israel using the Saudi airspace. This is a very interesting development. Why is that interesting? It is interesting because it seems to me the Crown Prince is a realistic man, and he knows whether he admit that Israel is a country or not. It is a country. Admit it or not. So this is like if a blind person says, I don't believe the sun exists because he doesn't see it. That's your problem. If you don't see it, it does not mean it does not exist. And many before the Crown Prince, based on Islamic teaching, they always denied the existence of Israel as a nation. That's number one development. Number two, Saudi Arabia allowed girls to play sports in public schools, not private schools, public school. All public schools now in Saudi Arabia allow girls to play sports, whether it's soccer, tennis, what have you. That was forbidden before. And when you allow sports for girls, how would a girl play sports in that veil? And let's say she's playing tennis and all these long baggy dresses or whatever you call it. It's called abaya. she has to wear sports clothing. That's a very interesting development. I predicted that within 10 years, Saudi Arabia would be like Paris. And within 2 years, that hijab, the covering of the head, will be optional in Saudi Arabia. But it seems to be is coming faster than what I predicted. Okay. Number 3, Saudi Arabia allows women to compete in the Olympics. Okay, what does that mean? If a woman is doing sports, let's say taekwondo or any martial art sport like that, you cannot have all these black clothing covering you, or so much clothing, and do martial art. Okay, and that hijab that it covers the head, it becomes actually an advantage point for the opponent to grab the I don't know, I don't do martial art, but in martial art I think you can grab the person by his clothes, and that gives an advantage to the opposite team to subdue you. So you have to choose what do you want to do. These are development that it is worthy of mentioning first, and based on that, it is, unless you are blind or you do not want to see a reality, things are happening fast. And that's why I chose the title, Islam is Unraveling Fast, or the fast unraveling of Islam. Today also I'd like to speak about certain people who, I know there are many people who are supportive, and many people, they want to see this evil ideology. I myself too want to see this evil ideology destroyed once and for all. But there are many people also who see the evil of this ideology, but they do not know so much about it. Many people in the West, they can see that it is evil in its essence, but they don't know where it comes from and what is it based on. So they can't really form an opinion, and therefore they are just waiting for somebody coming and explaining things. Okay, that's one kind of people. The other is the adamant Muslims who are fighting to maintain Islam as a force in the world. If Islam to stay as a religion in the world, I really don't care. I don't mind if it stays as a religion. But when it enters the political arena, which Islam, they call it, is a religion and a state, and there is no separation. When Islam starts to dictate and direct people's life, it becomes fascism. And no free person wants to live under fascist ideology. And the history is full of that. Therefore, these people, from the beginning of the existence of Islam 1400 years ago, since the time Muhammad started his ideology, anyone who opposed him or said a word to criticize him he killed him. Maybe we will have to, because many Muslims actually, they don't know that. They don't know that. So they defend Muhammad thinking that he was a holy man and he deserves to be protected from people like me criticizing him and criticizing Islam as an ideology. So with that zealous heart, they come like to fight. I criticized Muhammad in previous videos, saying that he committed many atrocities, such as the murder, the rape of Safiya bint Huyay, the Jewish young lady that he slaughtered all of her tribes, and he took her as a slave and he raped her on the way back home. I spoke that he assassinated people. He did so many atrocities. The thing is, some people, because they think he's an innocent man and he is worth defending, without reading history, without doing any research, they come and attack me. And they call me name, they accuse me of lying, blah, 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 blah. And some, they give me Quranic verses to read. Do you think I didn't study this book from cover to cover before talking to you here, giving me Quranic verses to read? And then what? Okay, I read them and I know what they are. And then, so there are some people sending me a Quranic verse. It says, like God, Muhammad claimed that was God anyway, telling him that the non-Muslim, the non-believer will try to turn off the light that God sent to humanity through Muhammad. And my question to you, when your electric power goes off, quickly go and call the electric company to restore the power, because day or night you want light in your house or at your work. So who doesn't like the light? This is nonsense. Please, before you do something like that, think for a moment, what am I doing? Okay, it's good to defend the person I love, but was he really a criminal? Did he commit this crime? Before you start attacking and defending. No. Many people have called me name and accused me, and some people told me I need to see a mental health doctor, a psychologist and a psychiatrist, both, because I have problems. I don't doubt that I have many problems, including mental problems. Probably I do have many. I don't know them. Okay? But that does not change the subject that Muhammad committed atrocities. Okay? And no one of these people who have criticized me or told me that I'm doing wrong, or why you don't accuse the Christian and the Jews instead of the Muslim. None of them told me about the things I say that they are incorrect or they are nonsense or a lie, or they have no basis in Quran or in Hadith or in Muhammad's autobiography. There are many things are sickening in these three areas whether it's Quran, Hadith, or Muhammad's autobiography. There are many things that are sickening. And when I talk, I actually read the subject and I make sure that I have the information from the Islamic sources. Okay? When I spoke about Muhammad marrying a 9-year-old girl, that was not my own saying. So you think I need to see a mental health doctor because of that? Okay, what is your take on a 54 years old man? Actually, he was 51 years old when he was engaged to her. She was 6 years old, he was 51. And he was touching her sexually to get sexual pleasure from her. A 6 years old. And when she became 9, he consummated the sexual relationship with a 9 years old, and he was 54. Okay? If I have mental health problem, okay, you might be right, but what's your take on a 54 years old grown-up man doing that with a 9 years old, a child in the 3rd grade? Okay? That goes over your head like nothing? Okay, what about a 54 years old, what about Muhammad having sexual relationship with his daughter-in-law to his adopted son? He had a child, he was an orphan, he adopted this child, and when this child grew up, he got married to a beautiful woman. Once Muhammad went to visit him and he saw her at home in not necessarily the clothes you wear going outside, like her house clothes, and it was probably revealing, and he saw her beauty, and he told him to divorce her because he will marry her. And that was a command from Allah. And he said, because adoption is not right thing and it should not be done in Islam. Okay, if you think adoption is wrong and you want forbid adoption, fine. Maybe you have a theological point to make. Okay, you want to stop adoption? You could. But why taking a woman, a wife of your son, your adopted son? Why did you have to put your sexual mark on her? There are many other women, beautiful women. Why do you have to take this one? And if you really try to imagine the situation, his adopted son feels indebted to him because he protected him when he was young and he took care of him. And when he wanted his wife, if he feel indebted to somebody, add to that Muhammad at this time, he had a lot of power and influence. He divorced the woman for him. Is that a moral behavior? Is that something a prophet would do? Is that good? So before you come and attack, before you criticize what I say, before you tell me that I need a mental health doctor, one person is telling me, the Muslim are almost 2 billion people on earth. And so what? Even if they are 200 billions on earth, if they are following a destructive ideology, so what? They are on the wrong side. Whether they are 2 people or 2 billion or 200 billions, they are still on the wrong side. It's not by number. It's not how many people are doing that. For example, if we say God exists, and you have a country like China, atheist, communist country, I mean, now there are some people who practice religion in secret, but it's almost 2 billion people, and it's atheist. Add to that the former Soviet Union, it's much more than the 2 billions you are talking about. Much, much more. And if God exists, that this ideology means it's correct because it's number? Think before you come and defend this guy or defend anyone. Try to understand what's right, what's wrong first, and then you can attack. Or I want anyone, do yourself a favor. Any of these people who come to accuse or attack or tell me I'm mentally ill or what have you, before you say that or attack like that or defend like that, ask yourself, what is the lie I am saying about Muhammad or Quran or Islam? If I'm not saying something that it didn't take place, then you have the right to accuse me and say, oh, the Prophet was a holy man and here is the proof. But when the Prophet is slaughtering people, raping women, having sexual relationship with children, marrying his own daughter-in-law, there's a person out of control. And I'm not sorry to say that, that's a fact. Okay. Now, by the way, I can pass for a better prophet than Muhammad. And the reason here is, at least, the things I spoke of last week, it became reality this week. That's pretty good for prophecy. So I'm not claiming prophethood, I can't do that, but I'm saying it doesn't take really a brainy person, it doesn't take a prophet to predict what will happen. It doesn't. It is all common sense, knowing what happened in the past and the nature of this religion and what Muhammad did and the situation today and what people are interested in today to know. It really gives you, if you put things together, it is very easy, very easy. It doesn't take a religious person or a prophet or anyone to predict the downfall of Islam, the fast unraveling of Islam. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.